What's going on, everybody? My name is C4. Welcome back to the channel, and today we are here for a brand new Madden 25 realistic rebuild of the Vegas Raiders. We've at minimum of 5, maximum of 10 seasons to try and win a Super Bowl. And just like an hour ago, the Vegas Raiders, the Seattle Seahawks, maybe more importantly, shocked the football world by sending Geno Smith to the Raiders for a third-round pick. And my mentions on X, give me a follow if you're not already, at PapaXC4. Link in the video description was, let's do the Raiders again. Run another Raiders rebuild. Well, I'm halfway through a Chicago Bears realistic rebuild right now, because that has been the most requested in the comments, so that'll be coming soon. But this is very interesting. The last time we did a Raiders realistic rebuild wasn't super long ago, but it was when we only knew Pete Carroll was on the roster. We had them go Shedeur Sanders. Now, we know that Chip Kelly's the OC. So if you're putting that in NFL terms, like, well, who was Chip Kelly's coaching trees or any playbooks that have a lot of styles similar to what Chip Kelly's going to run? It's Kevin O'Connell and the Minnesota Vikings. You know me, that's one of my favorite offensive playbooks and all of that. So that's going to make this an entirely different rebuild experience. And by going Geno Smith, I think that says at minimum the Raiders won't be targeting a quarterback early or at all in the 2025 NFL draft. Now at 34 years old, probably going to have to prioritize a quarterback at some point, but the selection of Geno Smith, I think he's a lot better than this 73 overall. I think an element to this 73 overall is, regression. I think Geno should still be like a high 70s quarterback. And in that idea, if you can get 2 years out of Geno Smith while you wait, I don't know if they're trying to wait themselves out to the Arch Manning sweepstakes, but you could do a lot worse than Geno Smith. If Geno Smith was a free agent, and then you had Geno Smith in the pool of like Geno Smith, Aaron Rodgers, Sam Darnold, Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, I'd say pretty comfortably Geno Smith is the best quarterback out of that bunch. So from that standpoint, Raiders got maybe the best available veteran quarterback, knowing that they kind of swung and missed on the Matt Stafford sweepstakes. When you look at this roster big picture, I think I'd have a strong contender for my main channel Madden franchise team for Madden 26. I'd love to go back to the Raiders. I kind of want to do the Raiders a lot in Madden 25, but me and Bengal were talking. He said, he's leaning towards doing the Raiders franchise. Like, all right, cool, I'll do Vikings. Never really fell in love with the Vikings. They ended up being sick this year, so it wasn't really a fun, slow grind rebuild. It did work out. It kind of blew up my face a little bit. But for Madden 26, this Raiders team looks fantastic to rebuild. It's going to be probably one of the worst rosters in the game. Now, they have talent. The offensive line, I would say, generally speaking, not terrible. You have Brock Bowers, who's one of the most electrifying tight ends in the NFL. You got Jacoby Myers, who's a solid role player, wide receiver 2, slot guy, but not a lot else at wide receiver. The running backs are question marks. You have Geno Smith, who's at 34 years old, so like placeholder quarterback, to put it politely. You flip to the defense. You got, Max Crosby, nice, but, near the end of his prime. You have Christian Wilkins, same kind of area code of like he's still a good player, but he's like 30, so he's not probably as good as he's ever going to get from a overall rating standpoint. Rest of it, you got like a first-round bust in Tyree Wilson that's still trying to figure it out. The linebacker core was decimated. Safety room has absolutely no talent right now. And you got Jack Jones as your only dev trait player in the entirety of the secondary. This is a trash team, which is awesome for the context of what we're about to do, which is a minimum of 5-year, maximum of 10-year rebuild, because we have the entire team to fix. So here's what I'm kind of thinking for the first wave of free agency. Nate Hobbs, I think, should come back. I'm going to try and get Jeremy Chin. I got Dodson and David Long at linebacker. Just give us a little bit of help there. Let's see. First wave, we get Hobbs, Dodson, and Long. So we have our linebackers. We now have the return of our corner 1. And all these contracts incredibly reasonable for how much salary cap. We still have over $100 million. Before it's all over, we're able to add Levi Onwuzurike, who could play alongside Christian Wilkins on the defensive line. But that leaves us going into the draft. We could pretty much pick anybody. All right, let's go. I'm going to tell you right now, I have seen some very weird results in the 2025 NFL draft. Now, this is a realistic rebuild, but we're picking at 6, which means, okay, never mind. I don't want to say spoilers, but in the Bears simulation, Travis Hunter was still on the board when I picked for the Bears at 10. I was like, oh boy, here we go. But he's off the board. Cam Ward goes to the Browns. Honestly, I think Mason Graham would probably still be there. I think Ted McMillan, the wide receiver from Arizona, could make sense. Michael Williams gets reached. Okay, let's just go right to our pick. Is Abdul Carter going to be there? Oh, that would have been sick. And then Will Johnson goes, so I think I probably would have picked him as well. So at number 6, Shador Sanders is there. We're not going to run that one back. Ashton Genty is here. I think it could. I've seen mock drafts have it in play. I think ultimately you have way bigger issues than running back only if you are the Raiders. I think also look at the New York Giants as your case study. The Giants were a bad team. They drafted a running back. It didn't elevate them. You got to be a team like the Eagles. You got to be a team like the Ravens. You got to be a team like the Packers that can get that big name running back and have them be transformative. I don't think the Raiders had the pieces. Now, that's not saying, say, second round, third round. When you start looking at the Hamptons, Judkins, Hendersons, Johnsons, Scattabos, that we don't grab a running back. But I don't think in the first round, with the top 10 pick, that is worth the case. I think Ted McMillan, very interesting. I think he has wide receiver 1 potential. We do not have a wide receiver 1. We have a very good quarterback. Offensively, I think as far as big picture, the offensive line is maybe the one overall group that if you're the Raiders, you're like, we could probably rock and roll their offensive line next season and not be terrible. We have Shamar Stewart at defensive end. It's kind of like, are they ready to give up? Nick Scouton's there. His name's illegal, apparently. Are you ready to give up on Tyree Wilson? I feel like last year, I'm looking at it right here. Tyree Wilson had a 66.5 PFF grade. That's not brutal. That's definitely not living up to expectation of a first-round pick. But, you look at Mason Graham here. That looks like probably the best player available that we could make. Going in Jalen Walker's also there as a pass rusher. You could put him on the other side. Benjamin Morrison, Barron's got some safeties there. I think, honestly, if this is the board, and I've already used him in a big rebuild, so I'm not going to have to slight him by not putting him in the thumbnail. I think Mason Graham, fully committing to that defensive line, dominating down there, that's probably the best course of action. I mean, I'm getting number 12 in true value at 6, so not the best, but Mason Graham's an absolute beast. And him, Max Crosby, and Christian Wilkins should be able to carry the defense. Now into the second round of picks, it got some interesting names here. Right tackle's probably the one spot on the O-line that I don't love, and there's a lot of right tackles still on the board. Josh Simmons would be unreal before the injury at Ohio State. Certainly in the conversation for the top tackle in the class. It's between him, and if we don't go him, it's the man that stole. Like, do we do a solid? Because this would be the ultimate Al Davis selection. You have Malachi Starks, Georgia pedigree, supposed to be the big dog, but then you have Emmanwori, who puts up maybe the best combine of all time for a safety. Do we do this for Al Davis? Do we give Al Davis a little bit of a win, even though it's the Tom Brady era? Because if Al Davis was around and there was a 6'3", 227-pound safety who ran a 4, what he running, like 4.3, had a 40-something, like he pretty much has these ratings. He'll have elite acceleration, agility, jumping, speed. I'm going to do this one for Al Davis. But this would be the most Al Davis thing, where you go Malachi Starks, who's like the technical player, like probably going to be the better overall safety. They both could be good, but completely blinded by the insane athleticism of Emmanwori. This ends up being an excellent pick for us, as he's number 20 in true value, getting him at pick 38. Jesus, man. I'll tell you right now, honestly, I see sub linebacker. I see him leading our team in tackles year in, year out. All right, into the third round. A little bit of a tough decision here. Got some decent corners. But there's an Al Davis play right there, and Darren Porter, I think he's closer to 6'3". But we already did our Al Davis pick. But he is B-man. Am I picking that every time? Oh, man, I might have to grab him. What does Amos have? We're running low on time. Oh, I got to do it. Another Al Davis pick. Wait for a running back. I was looking for a running back here, but we still need a corner help. Holy, number 13 in true value. That's no dev trait. 6'4", 97 acceleration, 95 speed. I mean, Pete Carroll likes these guys too. It's not just the ghost of Al Davis. Height, weight, speed's how Pete Carroll built the Legion of Boom. I think we stay with speed kill. We have 2 very fast running backs available. Jaden Blue from Texas, who ran a 4.38, has elite speed, great acceleration. Or we have Bashal Tootin from Virginia Tech, who has elite everything. Yep. Going for a theme here. 124 in true value at 102, so it wasn't really that much of a reach. And there's our likely starting running back, with a lot of room to grow with no dev trait. I might as well just get Dante Thornton, 6'5", Tennessee. Beat you for running. Oh, did he run fast at the combine? Oh, 4.26. He ended up running, what, a 4.3? No, not a crazy. You know, got a long way. We're going to have to develop him. But you don't have to worry about developing 6'5" and 97 speed. This is for you, Al. This is for you, Al! So take a look at the 2025 NFL Draft Recap. We'll call it our final homage to the great Al Davis. Get some nice depth down there, but we go height, weight, speed. 97 speed on 6'5" for Thornton. Bayshal Tootin, 96 speed. 95 speed on the 6'4" Darren Porter. 76 overall, Emmanwori. Honestly, we probably should have just got Membu on tackle, who just put up also an insane freak of nature type combine. But we'll go with like the clearly great player. We're going to show a little Tom Brady bias and grab the Wolverine. I will say, look at this draft in hindsight. Maybe McMillan at pick 6 could have made a little more sense. But I think ultimately, plenty of nice pieces here. And the good news about our roster being so bad, a lot of these guys are going to have opportunities to get on the field sooner than later. Game 1 of the Geno Smith era. That's what we're going to call it. It seems like the Raiders are going to probably count on him for a couple seasons. It's against the New York Giants on the road. So that's a very nice matchup to introduce yourself to a fan base. See what we can do. All right. Welcome to the Raiders. There we go. That's what you got to do. Get Brock Bowers. Feed Brock Bowers. Everyone else, maybe if Brock's covered, we'll go to you. Go Bayshal Tootin right in the middle of the field. He can catch her in the backfield. He's a weapon. Thread the needle. Trey Tucker, let's go. What a ball, Geno Smith. How did that... I gotta look at that. That might be one of the best throws I've ever had. I was like, ah, shit, I led him too far. Oh. Let's go. Oh, Bayshal Tootin. 96 speed. 99 yards. I'm on All Pro. I'm not on All Madden. I'm not on Rookie. I'm on All Pro. That's mildly impressive on All Pro. He's our best player. I hope the Raiders get him in real life. If I do this as a series, I could totally see just having a toot being a thing. Maybe put on a shirt. Maybe my first ever shirt in 10 years as a YouTuber. Buy my merch. Ever tell you that? You know, my son watched, I can't remember. They're Lanky Box. They're like I don't know, fucking kids YouTuber thing. But literally, like, their whole thing is like almost, I feel like, subliminal messaging to go buy their merchandise. They're like, hey, look at this video, guys. Buy my merch. You know that thing from The Simpsons where they played the commercial in backwards? It was like, join the Navy. Join the Navy. Like, I feel like all these kids YouTubers, it's like, buy my merch somehow, some way. Anyways, let's go. Dagger. And in his debut, Geno Smith gets a win against barely an NFL team in the New York Giants. Hat trick of touchdowns, 80% completion percentage, and we might have a little bit of a stud at running back named Bayshal Tootin. That was in a loss, but Emmanwori in his second ever NFL game gets Defensive Player of the Week. Good start. We're at the midway point of year number 1. We already have more wins than the Raiders had all of last season, and we're coming off a gigantic upset over the reigning, defending Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles team. We have a top 10 rushing offense. Passing offense is not too shabby. And while I almost immediately regret it, not going McMillan at wide receiver in the draft and going Mason Graham, stacking up on the defense, having Max Crosby, Mason Graham, and Christian Wilkins has given the Raiders a very competitive defense, which... honestly, I think it's aging pretty well in our favor right now, going with Mason Graham in the first round. And we have so much money that it's probably worth it to pay just about everybody. The Raiders have always prided themselves on having great special teamers. So I think both the punter and the kicker will give themselves some new contracts here. We're going to lock Geno Smith in for 2 years. Reports right now, it's early. Obviously, the trade just happened that he will be signing a contract extension. And the Raiders kind of view this, even though he's 34, as a long-term option. So locking him in for 2 more years, that could realistically have him where the Raiders are going to end up having him when all is said and done. And I think for us, works itself out. He has the mentorship tag, so the regression's going to hit. But even when that regression's hit, I'm fine paying $20-some million, given how much salary cap we have, to have that mentorship tag on whatever young quarterback we eventually figure out will be our successor. Quarterback Meredith, he's 26 years old, 76 overall. Like, yeah, why not? 2 more years, could hit 80s. We're going to get Dylan Parham on a 3-year deal. Again, another high 70 lineman that still has a couple good years left of his prime. Should also hit the 80s. 3 years, $63 million for Colton Miller, who is far and away, head and shoulders, the best lineman on this team. And we'll finish up our signings with Jacoby Myers on a 2-year deal. He's 28. We'll keep him to he's 30. Wide receiver 2, but he's still a good wide receiver 2. So the interview number 1, what are we expecting, Raiders fans? Are you expecting with this Geno Smith move that you guys are playoff contenders, or do you think it just makes next season not an all-out tank? Because I kind of feel like that's the vibes. Geno Smith does not fix a roster that has issues, but to go from 4-13, you bring Geno Smith in, you go 8-9, you double your wins. You feel decent about that. I'd say our passing offense. Yep. We have Minnesota Vikings offensive playbook, which the ceiling of that is to be the best passing offense in the league. A little far off, but I do think overall, I'm happy that our defense is very good. The Mason Graham pick, keeping points off the boards, but all you can ask for. Looking at the rankings, Geno Smith, 3,600 yards, 28 touchdowns, 17 picks. I mean, if he had 28 touchdowns and like half those interceptions, I'd say that's a pretty solid year. Great veteran performance. All in all, it's tough to gauge though because our offense is 2 tight ends. That's what we have right now. And even though our defense and getting Mason Graham and that worked out, our defense is playing well. Might have been nice to have that wide receiver pick. Geno Smith did go for another 4 rushing touchdowns, so that gives him 32 on the year. You can live with that. Bashaw Tootin, almost 1,300 yards, 10 touchdowns for the rookie running back out of Virginia Tech. It's not Ashton Genty, but I don't think you can fault our draft process here. He looks like he's going to be a starting running back. Brock Bowers just barely goes over 1,000 yards, 8 touchdowns. We get 8 and 5 for Jacoby Myers. Again, wide receiver 2 numbers. Trey Tucker was not too bad, 7 and 7, almost 6 and 3 from Michael Mayer. Yeah, about as expected. Emmanwori led the team in tackles, 116 tackles, 9 TFLs, 4 interceptions. That might be your defensive rookie of the year. 17.5 sacks for Max Crosby on 19 TFLs, 13 TFLs, 8.5 sacks out of Mason Graham. Outstanding for a rookie. 6.5 on 13 for Christian Wilkins. Would still like to maybe see a little more out of Tyree Wilson. 5 picks. Nate Hobbs lead the team. Happy to bring him back. We got Devonshire, whoever the hell that is, with 3 picks. Role player, making the most of his role. 2 interceptions from the other rookie, Darian Porter. Happy with these numbers. Defense was good. Offense was fine. From a hardware standpoint, Max Crosby wins not only D Lineman of the Year, but Defensive Player of the Year. A clean sweep for the Raiders as Bashaw Tootin and Nick Emmanwori run away with Offensive and Defensive Rookie of the Year. Mason Graham right there as well. From a depth trade standpoint, as we close the year, Bashaw Tootin goes from normal up to a star after getting Offensive Rookie of the Year. I wasn't really expecting anybody else to gain a dev trait, but I was prepared for Geno Smith to lose his star. He maintains it, even though we did suffer 4 points of regression, and he is a 70 overall. Still, it's fine. It's fine. We're fine with this. On the defensive side of the ball, no dev traits outside of Tyree Wilson getting one somehow. That's wild. Nate Hobbs goes from star up to a superstar, and we get star up to superstar Emmanwori, which was expected after he won the Defensive Rookie of the Year award. But how the hell did Nate Hobbs? So we had what, five picks? Cool. I'm gonna be honest. Tyree Wilson now getting that dev trait makes it a little bit more interesting to accept that 5th-year option and see if that could potentially propel him into a big-time player for us. Gives us 1 more year to see what we got. I've not looked at free agency yet. I want to be enjoy the experience with you guys, get our hopes up. We desperately need a wide receiver 1. If they're even a veteran, if I can throw money at a wide receiver 1, we are going to. I believe that is the missing piece of our offense. To at least have it be not bottom 6 Oh, we're not going to get a roll, are we? Probably not. This is like... wow, okay. I can live with that. Now, there's no interest whatsoever, so we're going to have to likely go very player-friendly. I think that's worth it. That's an out, you know. Don't want to just keep, you know, beating a dead horse here, but that's at the DNA of this Raiders franchise. Jameson Williams is certainly a player that should be prioritized. That's really all we need to go after here in free agency. Can we get him? Okay, well, we're top bid. We're top bid. There we go. Hopefully that can be a missing piece for us. Pair that. Got Jacoby Myers route running. You got Brock Bowers, big slot. Michael Mayer out there at tight end. Bashal Tootin, reigning defending offensive rookie of the year. O-line's getting a year better. I think we're going to be a lot better offensively next season. So pick 14 in the first round of the 2026 NFL Draft. Unfortunately, the first round QBs here kind of butt cheeks. Now, if one of these guys say if Nussmeier is available in the second round, that's a little bit more my liking. I don't think I really want to reach for a quarterback now. Even wide receiver, man, not getting a great role there. Even with the signing of Jameson Williams, I would go wide receiver if there was clearly BPA being a wide receiver. We might need a little bit of help at right tackle. We have Delmar Glaze there right now. He's kind of just a guy. So we have Spencer Fano out of Utah at tackle. Could shore up the offensive line for a long term. Defensively, I mean, with Tyree Wilson getting his dev trait, you feel a little more optimistic about that down the stretch. Do we really want to draft an off-ball linebacker in the teens? I don't really want to do that. Ooh. Malik Muhammad out of Texas. A-man coverage. Also have Mansour Delane looks pretty good, but for Muhammad, let's go secondary here. Not a great board. I think my plan is kind of go BPA now, and that is, you know, we're pretty close. 19 in true value at 14, and then we'll see if like a Nussmeier is available in the second round. But we pull a dev trade on Malik Muhammad, 92 acceleration, 93 speed, and that'll give us 3 really, really nice corners. Because I think someone like Jack Jones, even though we re-signed him more so because it was affordable, he's likely at his ceiling. Nussmeier went late first. Didn't even sneak into the second round. We got Carson Beck here, but god damn it. All due respect, Kate Klubnik needs to be a little bit... Some of these QBs need to be a little more highly regarded than UDFA talent, I'll tell you that. So that just really puts us in a tough spot here. Damn. That was kind of my plan, right? Let's go... Got some good safeties here. Rod Moore, Michigan, second, third. I think we just trust our board, I guess. Got a first-round safety. I've used it before in a rebuild. But we have Emmanwori kind of playing that safety linebacker hybrid, so you can always have another safety added back there. So we'll go and just fully commit to the secondary here. Our already good defense. Number 9 in true value with a dev trait. Now, I think at this point, we're in the third round. Maybe the rating sucks, right? UDFA talent. But if he has a dev trait, that's kind of all we need. So I'm going to take a swing here on Cade Klubnik. Third round. My board's kind of shot on, like, can I just get a dev trait? I don't care if he's like 66 overall. 66 overall with a dev trait, understudy for Geno Smith. That could work itself out here. If he has no dev trait, I'm going to hate this so freaking much. 201 in true value at 78. Shit. So take a look at our draft recap. Hit our first 2 picks out of the park. 76 hit a dev on Malik Muhammad. 77 hit a dev on Dylan Raiola. Hey, I mean, the rating's not as low as I thought. I said 66. He's 67. We got Jayshon Barb, 69 linebacker. McCree at tight end, 68. 68 for Jeremiah Cooper in the secondary. We get Aiden Fisher, real nice linebacker from Indiana last year. Happy with the draft class, just couldn't find that quarterback. So at midseason of year 2 of the Geno Smith era, we are 500 with still, I guess, everything to play for on the back end of the season. From a salary cap standpoint, we do have Geno Smith's pretty big contract on the book, so that's why we only have $51 million. Looking at our team, I do like having Michael Mayer here because we have Brock Bowers in the slot, which I recommend if you do any Raiders rebuild, any franchise with the Raiders, you put Brock Bowers in the slot if you want him to play like Brock Bowers. So you need a backup tight end that plays a lot of tight end reps, so I think we'll come back to the table. I don't want Michael Mayer leaving. So the interview number 2, progress in a way that we have a better record. We go 9-8. We finish above 500. However, you look at the rankings, our defense is still decent. Offense, not great. And maybe I'm starting to worry that the Minnesota Vikings offensive playbook, maybe it works because you have Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison and TJ Hawkinson going there. Maybe it's not just any team can thrive with that, because Chip Kelly's offense here, 18 points a game is not good. And then Nussmeier, the quarterback I wanted, is just lighting it up for the 49ers. I also want... Oh, okay, those numbers suck. I also want to say, what... I get it's a fun rebuild to do it. Get Geno Smith going for whatever pick from a team that's just had poverty at quarterback. It makes, could be exciting, but, what is best case? I think even if it works out, best case scenario, Geno Smith and the Raiders can, grind their way to a wild card playoff spot, which would be awesome, but, that's 9-10 wins. So we got 9 wins, but man, oh man, I'm very annoyed that Kate Klubnik didn't have a depth trade. I don't think we have the quarterback that's going to give us a Super Bowl on this roster right now, which sucks. Just under 1,000 yards and double-digit touchdowns for Tootin. That's not great. That's regression. 1,000 yards, Jameson Williams. 8-8 for Brock Bowers. 8-2 for Jacoby Myers. 4-3 for Michael Mayer. Defensively, Emmanwori continues to at least be a beast, and he is developing nicely. 102 tackles, 6 TFLs, 3 picks. At the end of his second year, he's an 89 superstar. So one of the best young defenders in the NFL. We did a great piece of business there. We also have Max Crosby playing at an elite level with 18 sacks, 11.5 for Wilkins, 8 and 10 for Mason Graham. So at least Graham and Emmanwori have been outstanding draft picks for us. Porter with 2 picks, from that first class as well. Thieneman was hidden dev at it is star. Same with Muhammad. Start of the offseason, I think, unlike Tyree Wilson, we're going to decline the 5th-year option of Brock Bowers so that we could just get that mega contract extension underway next season. I think for free agent, the only position I really would be open to upgrading would be getting a nice off-ball linebacker that, is not at the end of his prime. And unfortunately, that does not exist this year. So we'll roll over that salary cap the next season, which is good because we got to pay Brock Bowers. Out of the 2027 draft, you're looking at our roster. We lost the dev trade on Geno Smith. You need a quarterback. Will we have an opportunity to get one? I don't know. You look at the offense, I think a right tackle could be very interesting for us to look at adding in. Defensively, we've invested heavily on the defense, but still across the board, linebacker group is just average. Now, Emmanwori plays that hybrid linebacker role, so, you can kind of pencil him in as a do-it-all backside player, but, yeah, do I really want to go linebacker the first round? Not really. I think in a perfect world, a quarterback's available or a right tackle. So at pick 17, feel pretty decent that the top tackle available is Josiah Thompson. A pass block, B run block, South Carolina, 6'7", 315. Good mover. Wish he had a little bit better bench press. But I think this is what we have to do here. This point. Oh, God damn it! Dev trait, I guess. Now we're into the second round. We have some quarterbacks. We have baby Mahomes, Dylan Raiola. All right, that'll do. That works. That checks out. 43 in true value at 49. Rolls a dev trait. We got our guy. And then lastly, third round, looking for off-ball linebackers. We have Riddick from Auburn, who has a pursuit. And not the best combine, all things considered. We have Tillman from Mississippi State. More of a thumper, if you will. And our scouting, if you want to trust our scouting, we have Juan Molden of Michigan, second, third round talent for a day 3 pick. A zone coverage, A pursuit. Pretty, decent enough combine. I wish he was a little faster. I think we trust our scouting here in the 3rd round. Might be able to find a nice linebacker. Number 60 in true value at 81 with a dev trait. Let's go. What a draft. We'll get our draft recap. Josiah Thompson, 72 hidden dev, 73 hidden dev on Dylan Raiola, 72 hidden dev on Juan Molden. We got Bryant Wesco, I think it was like a 4-star high school recruit, so a big-time recruit at the wide receiver spot. Rest of the guys there, everyone above 65. Feel real good about our last realistic draft class. And we got a stud and very well the quarterback of the future. At the end of our very first training camp, Raiola, with the mentorship of Geno Smith, exactly what we need for a rookie quarterback, and this is the value of Geno Smith. Obviously, Geno Smith has regressed down to pretty much a shell of his former self, but we are paying him the big bucks here to mentor whenever we were able to bring in a successor in the future of the position for the Vegas Raiders, and that is exactly what Raiola is going to be. Because when you look at the quarterback spot, Geno Smith is a 68 overall, and we have 76, 77 with the boost for Raiola, so it just would make no sense to kind of do the whole, we'll play the veteran, and then we'll go with the young. It's when it's this big of a discrepancy, Geno Smith's value is assisting and helping this young quarterback go through the ups and downs and the growing pains of being a rookie day 1 starter at quarterback. That's what we're paying him for, and hopefully now we can unlock the offense here a little bit. So, I'm not going to say Geno Smith was holding this team back, but let's say that Geno Smith's leadership is elevating the roster right now. We're killing it, 7-1, stomping teams left, right, and center. And we now have Geno Smith's contract out the books, $175 million. So let's get Brock Bowers locked in. Honestly, this should be a 6-year, 130. Get him up for the... Oh, what do you mean you're on the fence? Superstar corner Nate Hobbs locked in on a 2-year deal. Jackson Powers Johnson, 5-year deal, staple of this offensive line. Bring Christian Wilkins back on a 1-year deal, kind of a rental. Tyree Wilson's an interesting one. Man, he's kind of developed for us. Somewhere, I think we can live with like a 2-year, $23 million for like a... man, come on. Christian's been a great role player. Played a little safety, played a little corner. We'll bring him back on a 2-year. Nice utility guy in the secondary. We paid a little more than what I would like, but we got Tyree Wilson back for 2 more years. Yeah, he's earned a second contract. I would have liked to maybe see a little more good faith between us and his agent because we kind of stuck with him during the low point. And then we back up the Brinks truck to lock in Brock Bowers for potentially the rest of this rebuild. And at the end of year number 3, year 1 of the Dylan Raiola era, and we go 13-4. We finish with a top 5 offense, the number 1 defense in the NFL. Yards aren't crazy, but look at the development from Raiola. At the end of the season, we have, and I think honestly, a big part of this, not just trying to, hey, Geno Smith rebuild, that's why we're doing this. We got 6 skill points. We probably only have 4 of these skill points if Geno Smith is not on the team. That is how valuable it is having a quarterback with a mentorship tag. So we're going to pump all these points in here to scheme fit, and we'll see where Raiola stands at the end of his rookie campaign. But man, oh man, this went from, with Geno 8-9, 9-8 as a record, probably not looking like we're ever going to win a Super Bowl with that current landscape. But in year 1, barring something really weird happening, we are absolutely on the trajectory of having a team and a quarterback that is going to be capable of leading us to a Super Bowl. Now, unfortunately, only a star dev. Hopefully, we can get Offensive Rookie of the Year that should, give us some assistance in raising that dev tray up a little bit. But those stats across the board for Raiola, very special, especially for a quarterback that really, for how the draft played out, wasn't even worthy enough of a first-round pick, and we were able to grab him in the second round. He threw 35 touchdowns, 4,000 yards, 12 picks. Picks could get cut down a little bit, but he's a rookie. We'll give him, benefit of the doubt a little bit. He also chipped in with another 5 rushing touchdowns, so a 40 bomb. All right, that's why. 1,200 yards, 11 touchdowns for Tootin. Love seeing that. 1,200 yards, 12 touchdowns for Brock Bowers. Just under 1,000 for Myers. 900, but 9 touchdowns for Jameson Williams. You'll take that. You'd love to see him go over 1,000. But Mayer was also a good role player. Juan Molden and Emmanwori are our beasts. We got 16.5 sacks Max Crosby on 17 TFLs. 11 sacks Christian Wilkins, 10 sacks on 18 TFLs for Mason Graham. And Tyree Wilson's carved out a nice career for himself with 9 TFLs and 8.5 sacks. And honestly, the 2-year contract extension that we did give him, a little bit cheap for that kind of production, I will say. Happy with that. Interception numbers are solid. Looking at the yearly awards, Josh Allen wins the MVP. In the AFC side, Defensive Player of the Year and Lineman of the Year goes to Max Crosby. Offensive Rookie of the Year goes to Dylan Raiola. And Defensive Rookie of the Year goes to linebacker Juan Molden. So this is the second time it's been a clean sweep for the Raiders for Offensive and Defensive Rookie of the Year. Way back in year 1, winning it with Tootin and Emmanwori, respectfully. The bad news is we got the memes of Raiola being Mahomes Jr., but you don't really want to run into Kansas City in the first round of the playoffs. We split the regular season 1-1, so we have been able to beat them. But that is not fun for a rookie quarterback to be like, hey, you got to go beat the cheat code, the final boss. But very optimistic that this ain't going to be a 10-year rebuild with what we got with Raiola right now. Geno did his job. He knew it was over. He has his piece of legacy remaining in the NFL. Goes from an elite quarterback prospect at West Virginia, one of the best offenses in my time of watching college football, that West Virginia offense with him, Stedman, Bailey, Tavon Austin, Owen Schmidt was there. Awesome. Then gets the NFL, was a bust, then completely turns his career around, becomes a damn good NFL quarterback. Maybe not elite, but like for a Pro Bowl, whatever a Pro Bowl is anymore for like recognition and value. Became a fringe top 10 quarterback, which is an awesome, realistic redemption story. And then he gets to leave with mentoring a guy that looks like he could be one of the best young quarterbacks in the NFL and a quarterback capable of bringing the Vegas Raiders a Super Bowl title. So shout out Geno Smith. Moment of truth. Got the 1-point upgrade for winning the Rookie of the Year. Did he get his superstar dev? Let's go! Did not get one for Molden, who won Defensive Rookie of the Year. He's still on his star dev, but we had to pick and choose. Absolutely. 12 times out of 10, we are picking the quarterback getting the dev trade increase. So the offseason, we're going to decline the 5th-year option on Mason Graham because he has earned, he got a superstar dev, let's go, increase for him, but he has earned every bit of that $94 million contract. So just out of curiosity, with Mason Graham going up dev trade, what do we got here? So on the offensive side of the ball, nothing. Thompson was hidden dev, it's just a star, which was kind of the expectation. Raiola gets the dev trade increase. Defensively, Mason Graham is now a superstar. Fortunately, Wilkins has regressed quite a bit. And Nate Hobbs loses his superstar. Okay. Not the best dev trade roll this year. Free agency roll, not in our favor. We could use another nice wide receiver option. There's just kind of veteran role players. Defensively, with Wilkins regressing, could use a D-tackle. Got a limit deal there. But at 28 years old, not vibing on that one. Need an off-ball linebacker, but like a complimentary one, so we don't need a high-end one like Jack Campbell. Thought about like Trevin Wallace, but there's just no dev trait. I'd love to get like a dev trait linebacker that might have his best football ahead of him, and unfortunately, there's just none of that exists. So, no problem. At the end of the day, just rolling over $125 million. So the first round of the 2028 NFL Draft. Our needs, our focus scout, we looked at wide receivers. We need D-tackle, off-ball linebacker. Pretty much everything we talked about during free agency holds true to the draft. Now it would be a great year to need a quarterback, as we have Dalton Buckner, a top 5 talent. But we also had some good finds at wide receiver. Chauncey McClain, Max Spellman. 2 that I figured would be available at this range. Is it tough? Do we go speed or do we go attributes? Because Chauncey McClain brings speed. B, deep route running, B, release. Elite acceleration and agility. Second fastest 40-yard dash. Or you look at Spillman at wide receiver. Big bodied, 6'2", 225. All B's and a C. Elite strength, good combine. Now, the reason why I'm kind of leaning toward, usually McClain's my pick 10 times out of 10. But the reason why is down, I can't remember his name. We'll see in a second. I think we got one of them guys. We got Rowe here in a 4.24, deep threat, UDFA, A deep route running. That guy's going to be good. Now, I think we need probably 2 wide receivers. So I think you get maybe a complimentary option here like Spillman and know that maybe in the 3rd round, 4th round, we can just grab that speedster at wide receiver. Hopefully he rolls a dev trade, and we'll have our wide receiver room alongside Jameson Williams. So Spillman ends up being 36 in true value at 24, but at least he pops a dev trade and is a different style of receiver that we don't have on the roster. Oh, no way, dude. Terry at 54 to the Colts at D-tackle. That was my next pick. Oh, that's brutal. Brutal. Now, we do have nose tackle cheese here in Arthur Rosemond from Auburn. I guess. 67th. Damn it. I gotta look at that Terry guy. He didn't need me to preview him because I thought it was a layup. He was like a 3rd round projected pick. Fuck. I shit you not. Underwood, 85 to the Seahawks was my next pick at linebacker. Fastest linebacker in the class, gone. God damn it. Okay. I mean, Milstead here got good speed, I guess, but Jesus Christ, man. He's probably going to be normal dev. Another blind pick. 102 at 88. Okay, there we go. 91 speed. Okay, we'll live with that one. Mr. Rowe, you are an Al Davis selection. Thank you very much. Please roll the dev trait. Probably will. 93 in true value. 120, but freak of nature. So in a draft that could have been even better. Still feel happy. Guess with what we got. Spillman, 74 dev trait. Roseman, 72 normal. 70 hidden dev on Milstead. Rowe, 71 with a dev trait. Able to get just, a couple decent role players with speed and athleticism. Get a 72 kicker. I got to go look at the Colts though, man. Terry at D-tackle. Oh, 76. Please be normal. Please be normal. Please be normal. Please, star. Please, star. Don't be anything. Okay. All right. Can live with that. Happy with our class. We are beating the brakes off of teams. 8-0. We have a top 10 offense, top 3 defense. Thanks, Geno. Appreciate you. Nick Emmanwori, who's been an absolute cheat code eraser for the defense. Done. Mason Graham, 5-year, $197 million. Done. Not even worried about it. These defensive pieces are, this whole class is insane. Tootin has been an excellent running back. He's 3rd in the league right now in rushing yards. Porter at corner. Here's a 3-year, $20 million deal. Done. Homegrown talent. Ain't going anywhere. Now we have Thornton, who maybe if he had a little bit more of an opportunity, could have developed into a player 6'5" with that undeniable speed. But we have depth at wide receiver after that last draft. We have Colton Miller. Let's see if we can get him back on a 2-year, $52 million. That ain't cheap, but left tackles usually aren't. Parham's serviceable enough at guard for that 2 years that he should hover around a high 70s, but you can win with that. We got Wilkins. If he takes us 1 year, hey, there we go. All right, run it back 1 more year. I was trying to see how long the win streak could go, and then as soon as I saw Kansas City on the schedule, I was like, oh, it's probably going to end there, and it does. But 10-1, that is an unreal start for the Vegas Raiders. We all can ignore the fact that we were 10-1 and we finished the season 12-5. And look at the positives, is that we just beat the Colts and we have to play them again in the wild card round. Chip Kelly's offense, it's fine. Defense has been very good. Take a look at the stats here of this 12-5. Raiola is fine. Took a step back from his rookie campaign. Tootin was solid. 2,000-yard receivers. Okay, that's cool. Max Spillman, 800 yards, 9 touchdowns for the rookie first-round pick out of Georgia. Just a star dev. I mean, I think, honestly, if you told me, gun to my head, C4, what are the most overpowered offenses in Madden 25? I would have had the Minnesota Vikings on there. And I think I'm now seeing that it's maybe more so the Vikings roster than it is outright that Vikings offense. Because we're not getting a great return on investment here. Max Crosby, 15 sacks, 10.5 from Mason Graham, 8.5 from Christian Wilkins. Interception numbers have increasingly gone down, it feels like, year after year. Maybe help our team lock in. We didn't have a single award winner this year, so it's a humble experience for the Raiders. After the highs of last year where Max Crosby won every award, we had the offensive rookie, defensive rookie. To get nothing after a 10-1 start, they ain't showing us respect. And we're able to beat the Colts back-to-back weeks and get the first playoff win of the video of the Dylan Raiola era. That's what we need to see. Mr. Dylan Raiola, 32 points put up, 29 against the defense. Out duels and Anthony Richardson that has figured out how to throw football. But 251 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks for Raiola is nice. Tootin was dynamic. Defensively, not our best showing, especially getting 0 sacks, 0 picks. But a win is a win. And with that win, we have the right to take on the 1 seed in the AFC, the 14-3 New York Jets, who are somewhat similarly built to us. Like, they can run the football well. They play great defense. They're the #1 defense in the NFL, led by Sauce Gardner and Quinnen Williams. I mean, obviously, I think we need to upgrade our players, make sure we put our best lineup out there possible, with upgrades going to Thieneman, Milstead, Rowe, our speedster wide receiver. And it's time. I'd love to see Raiola to have a signature win. I mean, like, he carried the team against the #1. That's what we need. 24. I mean, you weren't going to light the scoreboard up against the #1 defense in the NFL. Emmanwori with the interception, 8-tackle, player of the week performance. But Dylan Raiola, there's a signature win. Going up against, okay, great, we play the fucking Chiefs. That's not fun. But going against the #1 defense in the NFL in the playoffs and finding a way to outduel Quinn Ewers and the New York Jets. I mean, just, okay, Brock Bowers, great option there. Defensively, they woke up. 2 sacks, Matt Crosby, Mason Graham, Christian Wilkins getting out that. And Emmanwori has been an incredible pick. Okay, we shocked the world. Pretty cool. But we know it's unlikely. You know, this is going to have to be an upset for us in year 4 of a minimum of 5, maximum of 10-year rebuild to make the Super Bowl. We have the Chiefs. Fuck, man. Just one of those things where it's like, in my mind, it's something I want to complain about to Madden and the devs. Like, can we make them not fucking this overpowered? But they should be. As much as you hate it, they should be the boss, the final boss, man. And AFC Championship game crash out. We have so much salary cap. If the free agencies are there, it takes 2 to tango, but the agents are there that are free to join our roster. We're going to be that much better to make sure this doesn't happen again next year. The offseason with a retirement is Christian Wilkins retires after 10 years. Now, really wish I hit on that Terry pick at D-tackle in the draft, because that'd be a like-for-like successor. Now we're probably still going fishing for a D-tackle sooner than later in the upcoming draft to replace Christian Wilkins to play alongside Mason Graham. Surprise, surprise, who Super Bowl champions are. Surprise, surprise. So as we go to the offseason, if I had to look at where we're going to get better, I think a guard, left guard would be nice. Other than that, man, the offense, you know, we got two more dev trade players. We get a guard. You're feeling pretty good. The offense is complete. Defensively, I feel our secondary is very strong. Our linebacking core across the board all have dev traits now. We get a guard and a D-tackle. We're going to be one of the best teams to beat next season on paper. We need a guard and D-tackle. I'm not saying we have to win the Super Bowl, but if we're spending this kind of money, I'm getting a little lax with the salary cap. Later Dickerson, Jervon Dexter, a 90 and 88 respectively at their given positions. I'm not saying this is going all in, but this is not being conscientious of the fact that we could lose over the next year or two, like year 5, year 6, because there's going to be a price to pay come probably year 7 with the state of our roster and with Raiola's contract on the horizon. So with our first pick of the 2029 NFL Draft, at pick 29, I'm going to be looking at BPA, which seems to be Jalen Pippen. Corner's not a huge need, but with how he handled free agency, which I think it's a good thing to handle free agency like that. When you're on a rookie quarterback contract, that's when you got to spend buck wild in free agency to try to get your team over the line. We're in a BPA situation here, and we have Pippen was A-man B-zone at 6'2", running a 4.42 with elite jumping, great speed, great acceleration. Wish it was elite. Vibes are maybe no dev trait, but he should be probably 75 minimum if I had to throw a rating guess on it. Let's go. What do we got under the hood? Make me watch this whole thing, which is fine. Cool immersion. Mr. Pippen. For the love of God. Why are we A to skip. Hey, there we go. Number 5 in true value at 29. And he rolls a dev trade. And maybe more athletic than I thought he was going to be based off those numbers. 93 acceleration, 93 jumping, which was expected. But the 93 acceleration, 93 speed, very, very pleasantly surprised. The second round, same BPA. Thad Kidd stood out a little bit because he had a tackle. But I'm not going to lie, pretty much just sorted at this point by speed. And he has elite speed. You get the elite speed. You have A traits. Usually I love, personally, for that to be like coverage. If you have A zone coverage, checks out with the speed. And of course, just making me watch the whole pick again. Must mean he's good. I feel like when you have a bust pick, they don't do this whole theatrical, just like skips as fast as they can to like, oh, here's the recap and you suck at this game. So Mr. Kidd ends up being a first rounder, technically in true value, number 32 at 61. No dev trade, unfortunately. And for our draft recap, feel real good about that one right there, fellas. Pippen 78, dev trade 74. Normal for Thad Kidd. We got Clayton, who I'm going to guess. Do you think you know why I picked this guy? Well, he's undersized, still classified as a D tackle. But anytime you have a D tackle, regardless, that has 85 acceleration and 81 speed, I'm in. I'm in to at least see what that looks like, even if you have to convert to defensive end to make it work. We got George Anderson, another 70-plus corner. Ends up being a outstanding draft class. I think pound for pound, there's not probably many that could stack up with us. McLean to the 49ers, tops in the class. But with that draft class combined with landing Landon Dickerson and Javon Dexter, we're not losing. We might not win the Super Bowl. We're not losing to the Chiefs in the playoffs next year, at minimum. As we start year number 5, we're on the cusp of going all in because we spent a lot of money in free agency to give us a complete roster. The offensive line, probably closer to a top 5 than it is a top 10 offensive line, but it is there. We have the best tight end in football. We maybe have the best young quarterback in football. We have the fastest skill position players. Tuden's 96 speed, Jameson Williams 97 speed, 99 on row. Spillman here has good power. So we have a variety of ways that we can beat you on the offensive side of the football. Defensively, the addition of Javon Dexter gives us the best D-line in football. Our linebackers have no weakness. We have the best safeties in football, the best hybrid utility player in football in Emmanwori. Our corner room has zero weakness. I want to see for sure, like, what are the stats looking like? Imagine 6'3", we'll round it up, 230. And we got 97 speed, 89 zone, 92 tackle, 94 pursuit, 91 hit power. I mean, the coverage, I guess, man coverage is not completely well-rounded, but man, oh man. Special player. He's going to be so fun next year's Madden. But at the end of the day, we have stars. That's usually like the balance. Is sometimes when I have a really, really good team, ratings are off the charts, we just don't have like those game changers, right? And passing yards, our passing offense has been kind of hit or miss, so you can't necessarily give it to Raiola that he's a game changer. But Brock Bowers is a game changer. And on the defensive side, we have Max Crosby, who's an absolute game changer. One defensive player of the year. Emmanwori is unstoppable. Mason Graham is in that conversation. We're going to be good this year. And we're going to keep it here live because right week 1, the team that we are building ourselves to beat, the Kansas City Chiefs on the road. Defending Super Bowl champions. They're raising the banner. Can we upset them? Or is it a nice smack? Well, okay. Fuck! God damn it! Mid-season, we're certainly not off to, 10-1, looking like an undefeated start. But 4-2 still pretty good spot to be. Looking at our contracts, the money is getting, well, we spent the money that we did in free agency. So we retained Max Crosby. Now, Heineman, Malik Muhammad, Barham, Hobbs. That's 4 starters. Can't pay him. Got to win. So at the end of year number 5, am I a little annoyed that I spent all that money in free agency and we have the exact same record we had a year ago? A little bit, but this year it's good enough to get us the 1 seed. We have the number 1 defense in the NFL. We got a win here. 2 wins. One over... Oh, love the hat trick from Max Crosby. One over the Chiefs, so we split the series with the Chiefs. We also beat the Denver Broncos, so 2 nice divisional wins to help us not only get the 1 seed, but our second AFC West divisional title of the rebuild. Looking at our stats here, Raiola, 38 touchdowns to 6 picks. Really, really nice. Tuten has been incredibly consistent. We have 2,000-yard receivers. Man, I'm doing online franchise. You got to do online franchise to have the start today of the Super Bowl. It is, I mean, maybe it's because it's a Saturday. It's so freaking laggy, like so slow. I hate it. Anyways, Brock Bowers, 1,100 yards, 10 touchdowns. We get over 1,012 for Spillman. Defensively, Emmanwori continues to be just an absolute game changer for the defense. And we got 20 sacks for Max Crosby, 5 picks from Mr. Porter. Good for him. Shout out Shedeur Sanders winning the MVP. Our only award winner is a pretty damn good one as Max Crosby not only wins D Lineman of the Year, but he gets Defensive Player of the Year for the 3rd time in this rebuild. He's been incredible. Not gonna lie, the downside of live recording, I absolutely just butchered everything setting up the first round of the playoffs, and then I got very upset that we play the goddamn Chiefs again. But in the first round against the Jets, who were 9-8, we were able to get past them with a pretty decent showing by Dylan Raiola. 2 touchdowns, clean performance, no interceptions, did not put the football in harm's way. But now, I think, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to hop in. I'm not necessarily going to say I'm going to play this full game. I'm not fucking losing to them again. I lose the Super Bowl, fine. I'm not having, like, this is the pain of doing, especially any AFC West rebuild, is you have to deal with this bullshit. Like, if it comes down to we're tied, we get the ball to go try to win it, I'm hopping in. I'm not losing to them every fucking year. Let's go. Mini Mahomes against real Mahomes. Come on. We beat them in the regular season. Anything they do, we need to equal. Coming in. I'm cashing my 3. I'm not losing them again. I don't care. If I had to sit there and watch my team get absolutely smacked in a Super Bowl, at least we made a Super Bowl, and it's not them. Slant cheese, Jameson Williams. I'm going to take off. Oh, bring... Timeout. Big field goal. We're playing the Chiefs. I'm going to run it because they have 1 linebacker there. I don't know. This is exotic. I don't see Christian. Okay. Well. Not my fault. There we go. Still have 2 more times I can cash in. Not selling for field goals. What is this? 4th and what? Manageable. That's what I see. 4th and manageable. Brock Bowers, corner of the end zone. Got him. We may lose. We're not losing to them. We may lose. We're not losing to them. Say it with me. Oh, come on. Give me at least 1 drive where my team... Why didn't we take any points there? We were on the fucking... Okay, we won. Thank God. But, like, what was that? We're in the Super Bowl! Slay the Dragon. Mini Mahomes defeats Mahomes. Let's go, baby. Super Bowl is set. It is the 11-6 Rams. We got Drew Aller at quarterback. Let me go look at the roster real quick. I love seeing how these guys got there because the Rams themselves are going into an interesting kind of rebuild, kind of not spot. They have Drew Aller, who we know is an absolute beast. We had Drew Aller on the Saints for a rebuild. Probably one of our most potent rebuilds yet with Kellen Moore. They got Kyron Williams still there. They got Puka Nacua. They're the ones that got Nick Harbor. 6'5" with 9. I mean, we got to get him in one of these rebuilds. I've seen the comments. Some people are saying, when we got to do Nick Harbor? It's up there. Their O-line is very good. Defensively, they got Fisk, Kobe Turner, Odigizua, Jared Versus at 96, Omar Spates, Barrett Carter. Jesus Christ, they do not have a weakness. They're literally elite at... What's their roster rating? That's 88. That's fake news. That is at least 90s across the board on paper. This is going to be a very tough game. And I have to limit my influence over this one because we had to cash in our little help our team, little tush push, if you will, for the old sim to get to this spot. They have the number 3 offense, number 4 defense. Should be a banger. Going into the Super Bowl, I do feel like underdogs. Looking at that roster, I feel like that's a better roster than our roster. They have some really, really good players. But it's going to come down to the quarterbacks. 2 of the best young prospects in all of college football. Drew Aller, Dylan Raiola, and they're absolutely not showing up in the first half. 7 points! Come on. I mean, this is why. When we went Mason Graham over McMillan in our very first draft, it's like, I think we could win on defense. We're going to turn over Malik Muhammad. Gets a pick. 21 belt to ass. We are owning the Rams. I wanted a shutout. I wanted a shutout so bad. This team earned it, man. You beat the Chiefs. You can beat absolutely anybody. And the Raiders in year 5. The legacy of Geno Smith carries on. His understudy, Dylan Raiola, did the goddamn thing, man. Let's go. Old man Pete Carroll, he's probably retired after a Super Bowl. Hell yeah, baby. And also because of this, the video gets uploaded today. Because if not, I probably would have to wait till Sunday. So that's awesome, being able to make that deadline. It's awesome because we had, you know, not great roster salary cap situation coming up. Even though I was ready and unprepared, it wasn't going to be DBs that were losing predominantly, and I could draft DBs pretty good. But in this matchup, we just team of destiny. 3 touchdowns, no picks. Give the Super Bowl MVP to the Geno Smith understudy, Dylan Raiola. As we always like to do, let's wrap up looking at the stats of what we're able to accomplish in this rebuild. And in 3 seasons as a starter, Dylan Raiola, 11,000 yards passing, 102 touchdowns, only 24 picks. Awesome. And if we weren't going to get there with Geno Smith, at least get there with probably what the realistic plan is of bringing Geno Smith to the Raiders, which is somewhat competitive, not tanking seasons with him at the helm, and then get his successor in place. Let Geno show him the ropes. Bashaw Tootin was awesome. 5,800 yards, 44 touchdowns. Brock Bowers, 6,500 yards, 52 touchdowns, 6,100 yards, 44 tutties for Jameson Williams, splitting time between us and the Detroit Lions. Michael Mayer was a good role player as well. On the defensive side, Max Crosby, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year in this rebuild. 176 TFLs, 146 sacks. We got 44.5 sacks from Mason Graham, who's an absolute stud. Tyree Wilson, somewhat developed for our team, which was awesome. But I think star of the show from this entire rebuild was Emmanwori, bringing in an absolute freak, an Al Davis selection, and in 5 seasons, averaged over 100 tackles a year, 26 TFLs, 14 interceptions. Let's go, baby. Go Raiders. We built a damn good squad, finishing as a 91 overall, deserved Super Bowl champions. With that, you guys think it's a good idea for our Madden 26 team? Should we be strongly considering the Raiders? I'm leaning towards, I'd love to go back to the Raiders. We did it, again, 4 or 5 years ago, was our main channel franchise. Could be time to run it back with the Raiders. So if you guys want to see that, let me know in the comment section below. Next rebuild is already half recorded. I am doing a realistic Chicago Bears rebuild, which I think from where I'm at in that one, probably going to go a little bit longer than 5 years, struggling a little bit, figuring it out. But that will be coming. Pink Slips will be coming soon, the newest episode of that. But if it is your first time stopping by and you guys did enjoy the video, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. Smash the like button. Leave a comment about what rebuild you guys want to see next in the comment section below. Helps with the channel, with the YouTube robots, and the algorithm. And until next time, it's your boy C4 saying peace out. Love ya. Have a